All right, so big announcement. Like I said last week, we're doing 5 interviews with people from around every sport. We got football, we got basketball as well. So 2 sports that we're doing. First off, as you guys know, we're going to do an interview with Cole McConaughey, the defensive end for Miami commit. Obviously, he's a 3-star tight end or defensive end committed to Miami over this season. So we're going to do one with him. We're also doing one with Auburn commit Kinsley Faustin, if you guys have not heard on that one as well. That's who we're doing that with. He's an Auburn commit as well. He plays defensive back out of Naples, Florida. That video should be coming soon. But 3 new announcements that I need to announce today. Number 1, Joe Schmidt of the Atlanta Hawks. He's a writer, editor-in-chief over at the Atlanta Hawks. He does a lot of things with the Hawks. He's involved with media stuff. He's going to be coming on the channel talking about the Atlanta Hawks. I know I'm a Hawks fan as well. Don't know if a lot of you guys know that, but that's another one of my teams that I need to go ahead and mention there as well. However, though, we also have Bama Recruiting 24/7. He is going to be talking on there a lot. At least that's his name on Twitter as well. Go follow him as well. So he's going to be coming on weekly, by the way, to talk about recruiting, Bama, stuff like that. All of that good stuff. And then number 5, we have Ben from the Keep Purring podcast. If you guys don't know, go give him a listen on Spotify. He's a Panthers fan, obviously. He's going to be coming on here and talking about, number 1, what the Panthers need to do this offseason, who the coach needs to be, what else we need to look for in free agency, all of that good stuff. So, about 5 interviews that I have scheduled that will be dropping within the next few weeks or so on this channel. But regardless, today's NFL reactions, we got to react to some divisional round playoff games as well. We got the 4 games to go over, so this video is going to be kind of short for you guys. Tomorrow's video, we're going to do SEC basketball reactions for the first time, so stay tuned for that. Wednesday, we'll have conference championship picks and what will be a very short video. And the first interview with Bama Recruiting 24/7 is coming on Wednesday as well. So, Thursday, of course, going to be SEC predictions, and then Friday, Franchise Friday, that's going to be the outlook of this week for you guys as well. And then hopefully next week, I got something I want to talk about tomorrow as well in tomorrow's video regarding a big announcement coming Mardi Gras week as well, what you guys are getting that week a lot. So, that being said, let's hop in. That was kind of a long intro. I just wanted to get that announcement out there. But we have 4 divisional playoff games to react to. Let's go ahead and hop right into the divisional playoff games. Alright, boys, so let's go ahead and get down to business, what we're here for as well. Going off the first divisional game on Saturday at about 3:30, this game tipped off. I was at the South Alabama basketball game, so that post is out there on the Instagram if you guys want to go check that out. But I was at that game. There's a lot of stuff, pictures taken at that game as well. So if you guys aren't following the Instagram, go follow that as well. But the Baltimore Ravens absolutely belittling the Houston Texans in this one. C.J. Stroud did not play all that bad. He was 19 of 33, 175 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. If it really wasn't for that punt return, they would not have 10 points. They would still have been shut out to 3 points. Devin Singletary led the team with 9 carries for 22 yards on the day, no touchdowns as well. Nico Collins, the leading receiver on this one, 5 receptions for 68 yards. And then, of course, Devin Singletary also leading the team in receiving. Dalton Schultz had 43 yards as well. So he kept getting the ball to his playmakers is what it looks like. They just couldn't get open from what it seemed to that. I didn't watch a lot of this game. But sack-wise, the defense did get to Lamar a bunch. They got to him about 3 or 4 times in this game as well. And then, of course, kicking scored 4 points as well. Of course, the 3 that came and then the extra point as well. Taking a look at the Ravens side of things, Lamar Jackson kind of was iffy throughout this whole game. He was 16 of 22. 152 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. One thing I will tell you is that they will not beat the Chiefs with Lamar playing like that, especially on Sunday. And we'll have previews for that coming on Wednesday, but they will not beat the Chiefs playing like they did against this Houston Texans team, especially Lamar Jackson. But he had 2 rushing touchdowns. He led the team with 100 yards rushing as well. Justice Hill and Gus Edwards kind of both carried the way for rushing as well. But Zay Flowers led the team in reception. It was really all Lamar Jackson doing it with his legs, but Isaiah likely caught a touchdown, and Nelson Aguilar also catching 1 touchdown as well. Taking a peek at the defense side of things, they did not get C.J. Stroud 1 time, which was absolutely phenomenal blocking from C.J. Stroud's offensive line. I just think that it was the Ravens defense who held the Ravens in this game and eventually allowed them to end up with it as well. But kicking-wise, Justin Tucker, 10 of those points on the day as well. And then punting, that kick return touchdown that they had was amazing. So the Ravens are moving on to the conference championship to take on the Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, and we'll talk about that coming up shortly. All right, moving on to the next game, of course, is the Packers going into San Francisco. And I did say in my picks that I would think this game would be close. And, of course, it showed in this game. A lot of people had this game being close. I just did not see the Green Bay Packers winning this game because Jordan Love, I think the 49ers defense is just really that good. But the Packers, Jordan Love not looking all that bad. He was 21 of 34 for 194 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions on the day. And I think those interceptions is what kind of cost them the game towards that second half a little bit. By the way, that second half was actually a really good half of football for both sides of the ball. I watched the majority of this game, but Aaron Jones led the way with rushing at least 18 carries for 108 yards. A really solid game for him. Receiving, Bo Melton caught the 1 touchdown, and then Tucker Kraft also caught a touchdown. But Romeo Doubs led the team, 4 receptions for 83 yards. And then, of course, defense didn't really get to pressure Brock Purdy a lot, which is why he was able to complete a lot of checkdowns in this game. But Anders Carlson, that's what I'm talking about. Big kickers not really coming in and doing a lot. He had 7 points, but he missed a very important field goal, which would have kept the game tied, and they could have gone into overtime and potentially win this game. Of course, a Auburn kicker could not make a field goal. I just don't understand what it is. But they did not get to make that field goal. Of course, he shanked it wide to the left like he's been doing all year, and they end up losing this game. Now, picking up, look at the winner side of things. Brock Purdy, 23 of 39, 252 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. Christian McCaffrey had 17 carries for 98 yards, 2 touchdowns on the day, rushing-wise. And then George Kittle had a receiving touchdown and led the team in receiving with 4 receptions for 81 yards on the day as well. Taking a peek at the defense, Dre Greenlaw had both of those interceptions that were thrown by Jordan Love, of course, and the defense did not get to pressure Jordan Love at all, which honestly, really phenomenal blocking again by the Green Bay Packers offensive line. And then Jake Moody had about 6 of those points due to kicking as well. So kickers kind of struggled, kind of didn't as well, and turns out what to be the most important part of this game of football that we all know, especially with the 49ers going on to the NFC Championship. Moving on, you got the Bucs going into Detroit, and Detroit going to the NFC Championship game for the first time in 31 years before the Dallas Cowboys could ever think about making it to the NFC Championship game. That is a nod to Jerry Jones. Jerry, get whatever you need to do. This 2024, we need to lock down for this year or next year as well. But by the way, I want to say one thing before I start off these reactions for this game. If you guys let Baker Mayfield walk without even trying to come to an agreement with him, to come to terms with him, you guys are being flat out just stupid. He has played great all year. He's been doing it great. He played great with the Rams when he signed with them and kind of with the Carolina Panthers as well. He didn't have a whole lot of time to adjust to that. But if the Bucs let him walk in free agency, there are going to be a lot of people who are going to that organization and being like, I don't know what they're doing. Some people need to be fired and stuff like that. But I really think they need to at least consider signing Baker Mayfield to an offseason agreement. But thinking of Baker Mayfield, let's go ahead and start off this breakdown of this game. 26 of 41, 349 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. He played really solid football, but at the end there, I think the nerves kind of got to him, and that is what gave them the edge, or the Detroit Lions, to seal that game as well. But picking up, look at rushing, Rachaad White led the team in rushing, 9 carries for 55 yards, 0 touchdowns. Mike Evans, Cade Otton, and then, of course, Rachaad White, all catching touchdowns on the day. Mike Evans leading the team in receptions for 8 carries, 147 yards, 1 touchdown. They need to sign both Mike Evans and Chris Godwin to an offseason extension as well. Taking a look at the defensive side of things for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, though, 1, 2, about 2 times that they got to the defense. And then, of course, kicking, Chase McClellan had 5 points on the day as well. Kicking not really a big factor in this game because it's indoors as well. And we'll talk about the next game, what should have happened for the Buffalo Bills. But kicking was not a factor in this game at all. Jared Goff, 30th. Now peeking a look at the Lions side of things, of course. Jared Goff, 30 of 43, 287 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Jahmyr Gibbs led the team in rushing with 75 yards, 1 touchdown for 9 carries. David Montgomery had 10 carries for 33 yards. That's exactly why the Detroit Lions drafted Jahmyr Gibbs, even though they had David Montgomery, was to get them big plays down the stretch as well. But Amon-Ra St. Brown, 8 receptions, led the team in receiving for 77 yards, 1 touchdown. Josh Reynolds also catching a touchdown as well. Defensive-wise, they got to Baker Mayfield a pretty good amount of time. What I'm looking at is they got to him about 2-3 times during this game. And then, of course, the interception by Derek Barnes, the first of his career, is going to be remembered for a long one. Brian Branch actually pressuring the quarterback there on that play. So Brian Branch has had a very productive year in his first year with the Detroit Lions. And then, of course, kicking, Michael Badgley had 7 of those points as well. So overall, a really good, solid performance from Jared Goff from the Detroit Lions as they are heading to Santa Clara to take on the 49ers in the NFC Championship game for the first time in 31 years. Moving on to the final game, I watched the first quarter of this game before I had to go back into work, but it was a very, very good game for the most part. It was exciting. It's what it should be, a rivalry game in the playoffs as well, but Mahomes and the Chiefs always find a way to get it done when it matters most, and the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, 17 of 23, 215 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions on the day. Isaiah Pacheco led the team in rushing with 97 yards, 1 touchdown for 15 carries as well. Hilaire also got in the game at rushing, but Travis Kelce was really the main MVP for this game. 2 touchdowns, 5 receptions for 75 yards. Most of those touchdowns being really good plays for him as well. Really good throws by Patrick Mahomes. But taking a look at the defensive side of things, they didn't pressure Josh Allen a whole lot. They had some tackles in there, but they didn't get to the quarterback at all. And then, of course, Harrison Butker kicking 9 of those 10 points. Now, picking over at the Bills side of things, Josh Allen, 26 of 39, of course, 196 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. Solid day for him. It's just that kicker could not get it done with Tyler Bass. And they agreed to a 4-year offseason agreement with him this past offseason. All of that just to go through and him to miss a very, very important kick that possibly could have sent the game into overtime as well. What is it with kickers this week? They've been solid all year, but Josh Allen led the team in rushing, of course, 2 touchdowns on the day as well for him rushing-wise. And then Khalil Shakir also catching a touchdown on the day, with Dalton Kincaid leading the team in receiving as well. Stephon Diggs was actually very, very quiet this game. I think they should have utilized him more, but he was kept quiet. He looked to be on lock, and then the Bills did not pressure Mahomes at all. But Tyler Bass had 6 of those points. Could have been 9 had he made that extra field goal, and the game probably would have gone into overtime. But regardless, the Chiefs figure out a way to win when it matters most, and only one man can save us from a Taylor Swift Super Bowl. Alright, that's going to be all for today's video. Of course, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn that bell on. We do our best to post on this channel every single day. That being said, I'm going to hop off until you guys can watch this on time. This is going to be kind of a later video, but we're still going to get it out for you guys as well. Like I said earlier in the previous announcement, if you missed that, go watch the intro really quickly. We're getting interviews done. We're trying to blow up. We're going to get a LLC hopefully very, very soon. But that being said, I'm going to end this video here. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.